going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. So I haven't been posting a lot. I'm going to try to post a lot more in the future. I'm going to try to post more consistently, I promise. I try to change up my logo, try to change up my banner, all that other stuff, blah, blah. Forget all of that. So obviously the Pistons season has gone horribly, and there's all kinds of rumors going around. Andre Drummond's on the block. Everybody's on the block. No one's safe. So, you know, we expected to hear some trade rumors getting closer to the trade deadline. But what we did not expect, at least I did not expect, I mean, we understood everyone was on the table, no one's untouchable, obviously, but what we did not expect was to hear Luke Kennard's name be the first name talked about in a potential trade to happen. But that's exactly what we heard yesterday when Adrian Wojnarowski decided to drop this bomb at 12:09 a.m.
Detroit and Phoenix are discussing a deal centered on guard Luke Kennard. League sources tell ESPN Suns' first-round pick is in play. Kennard has missed 22 straight games with bilateral knee tendonitis.
Woj then quoted that tweet saying,
"Possible package gaining traction for Kennard per sources: Javon Carter, Elliot Kobo, and a first-round pick. Suns imagine Kennard as a 30-minute plus per game floor spacer to complement Devin Booker, Kelly Oubre Jr., and Ricky Rubio."
So yeah, the season hasn't gone the way we expected it to go, and we knew everybody was on the block, and you know, no one's untouchable for the right price. So, you know, I think I speak for everybody when I can say we were a bit shocked about, you know, hearing Luke's name first, and you gotta assume that's pretty serious because Woj tweeted out names and like a legit package. Like, he didn't just say that they're just talking about trade discussions or just like, it's just at discussion. He legit mentioned a whole package for Luke Kennard already. So you have to assume that it's pretty serious already. So the obvious question is, should the Pistons trade Luke Kennard? And specifically, should they trade him for this type of package? For both of those questions, I think the answer should be no. And no, I'm not saying Luke Kennard is untouchable. If a good deal comes along that you just can't pass up, then obviously you take it. No one's untouchable, no one's LeBron on this team. But do I think they should be trying to trade him? No, he's in his, fourth season now, and he's actually showed real improvements this year. Obviously he got hurt, but unless we have some kind of medical info that his knees are now like Derrick Rose's and we all just don't know it, and the team has like some secret backdrop on that, I don't see why they should be actively looking to move Luke Kennard. I mean, he's currently averaging 16 points a game, 4 assists a game. He's shooting 40% from 3 on 6.5 attempts per game. And he's gotten better from last year with a true shooting percentage of 58.9. As for this package,
hell no!
That's 2 players that can't even crack the Phoenix Suns rotation, and it's a late lottery pick in what I've seen from everybody as a weak draft. So we're basically swapping Luke Kennard for a late lotto pick and hoping to draft a player that turns out to be Luke Kennard. And me and Joe talked about this on the podcast, which by the way is hashtag Pistons Basketball. It's on all platforms. Make sure you guys go ahead and check that out. That if the Pistons want to attach Luke Kennard to an Andre Drummond trade because Andre Drummond's value is so low, then I could see that. I could get behind that. I wouldn't necessarily agree with it, but I could get behind it. I understand the logic behind it. You're trying to move Andre because you're scared that he might opt in, and you know, you're trying to get as much value as possible, and if you have to attach Luke to get like a good player in return or some good assets in return, then I can get behind that. I may not like it at first, but I can get behind that logic. But trading Luke Kennard for a player who is not good, that's older than him, and another player who also is not good and just a little bit younger than him, and then a late lottery pick in a weak draft just to try to draft Luke Kennard all over again makes 0 sense to me.
Hold on. You have a choice. You can have the boat or the mystery box.
What, are you crazy? We'll take the boat.
No, not so fast, Lois. A boat's a boat, but the mystery box could be anything. It could even be a boat. You know how much we've wanted one of those.
Then let's just...
We'll take the box.
And I've seen the whole, oh, we're afraid to pay him. We don't want to pay him because, you know, he's going to have to get paid after next year, or even next year if we want to extend him. He's going to have to get paid soon, and we don't want to pay him. Well, you know, that's what happens when you draft good players. That's what happens when you have good players. Good players get paid. When you have bad players, those are the cost-controlled, cheap players that everyone seems to be in love with. So unless we want to build a team full of fan makers, and anytime, God forbid, if Bruce Brown gets better next year, he's going to have money we're just going to ship him off to. Svi, if he keeps playing like this, next year we're just going to ship him off too because, oh, God forbid our players actually turn out good and we have to pay them. Like, what? I mean, if you were worried that Luke Kennard was going to get paid the max contract then I guess I could see why you're worried about paying him, but he's not going to get paid the max, and his price range is probably going to be in between, I believe, like 14 to 16 million, at most 18 million, and maybe 18 million is a shed a little bit more than you'd like to pay for Luke Kennard, but he's a really good player, a really good shot creator, a really good shooter, a smart offensive player, a nice playmaker. He's just a really good player. So are you really going to be that distraught about having to pay a good player? And even if that's the case, you still have him under contract for next year, and you have Bruce and Svi under their rookie contracts for next year as well. So if you're going to this whole rebuild thing, and your best young player is Luke Kennard with Bruce and Svi and Sekou, if you're going to this whole rebuild thing, why not at least go into next year and see what they got in an extended role, see what you have in your core, and then if he plays so good that you're like,
Oh God, he's playing so good we might actually have to pay him so much money.
I'm quite sure that other teams in the NBA would love to trade for a good player. I mean, like I said, Luke Kennard's not untouchable. It's not like he's LeBron on this team and he's just going to save us. I never said any of that. But he should not be moved at this year's deadline. I don't think he should be shopped this year unless it's like a deal that's just like, oh God, we have to accept that. And that's not what that Phoenix Suns offer is. Mind you, the pick is very likely to have some kind of protection on it. So even if we did get that pick and we have 2 cracks at the apple to move up in the lottery, if that pick moves up, we won't even get that pick because it will just go right back to Phoenix. That offer is not it to do. Luke Kennard should not be offered or shopped this year. If you want to shop him next year, when you feel like you might have to pay him more than you want, then like I said, teams will be willing to trade for Luke Kennard next year. Then you'll have a better idea over your core, over your direction, over everything. The rush to try to trade Luke Kennard, it seems, is just mind-boggling to me. And lastly, I've already said this a couple times, but just to extend more on it, if he takes the next step next year, he's playing out of his mind next year. Let's say he takes the next step next year, he's playing really well, better than this year, and we don't want to pay him because, oh, we have to pay him more money now because he's playing better. If that's the case, he's a restricted free agent, which means you can trade him to another team. A team will be more interested in trading for a player who is getting better, who's playing already really well, and then heading into the offseason, you have control over how much you pay him. If another team offers something at him, you don't have to worry about losing him. That team that trades him knows that they are going to keep Luke Kennard no matter what happens in that offseason. They don't have to worry about him going somewhere else, signing somewhere else. Nope. Anybody that offers him a contract, they can just match it. So they have control over him. So if that's a big thing for the Pistons to have to worry about, another team would love to have that issue. Yeah, man, it just doesn't make much sense to me. But that's all I've got for you guys today. If you liked the video, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up down below. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button because I got more videos coming your guys' way. Make sure you guys subscribe to my podcast with my friend Joe, #PistonsBasketball. I'll put that in the description down below. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter so you guys can get all kinds of insight, anything I hear from the post game, anything I hear from the locker rooms. Make sure you guys follow me on there so you guys can get all that kind of info. And lastly, you guys probably already noticed, I do have myself a gaming chair now. And that's because I am now trying to start up a gaming channel along with a reaction channel. I have not started those two yet, but I am in the progress of trying to get all that stuff laid out how I want to do it. So be ready for that. It seems like it's going to be a pretty wild trade deadline for the Pistons. So I'm going to be coming out with videos talking about everything we hear from now on, especially if a trade happens. I'll be coming out with a video, and I'll probably be coming out with a video after that too to talk about whatever happens at the trade deadline, what it means moving forward. So once again, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace out, y'all.